As a young boy, I wanted to become a chemical engineer. I didn't know what it was about, but it sounded cool, and I probably heard it somewhere. Turns out chemistry and I don't have any chemistry, so that idea had to be shelved. Then I wanted to become an accountant. I mean, I love numbers. It's structured, and I thought, look, this is it, and I did well. And then I thought, look, it just doesn't grab me. What else do I like? I liked reading, liked stories, connecting people, and journalism sounded like it offered me that. I went off to study journalism, and then I became a journalist, and professionally since 2004, and here I am today. What does my day-to-day look like as a news editor? So it starts very early. First thing I grab is my phone. Any overnight WhatsApp messages, emails, communication of things that possibly could have developed while I was sleeping. What content do we have published already on the site? Then it's a sense of getting a sense of what do our competitors have? What else, what other news is out there? Listening to the news, listening to the radio. Then after, it starts speaking to my news editors, the journalists on the team, fellow editors across Media24 about what's happening, what's set to happen during the day, and then we start planning the day. I believe we play a pivotal role as the news media to give people hope. Yes, we need to reflect the dark and trying times that we're in so that people are able to make informed decisions, right, about their lives and understand what's happening in the world. But at the same time, South Africa is such a beautiful country where there are amazing stories, that we should be telling, and that we do tell, and that we strive to tell even more of, because I think it gives people a more accurate picture of their country. Some of the challenges with this role is staying connected. There's a lot to stay connected to in terms of developments, news developments, making sure that we are making the right decisions, and if we've made the wrong decision, to correct it as quickly as possible. I think it's about looking forward. I can't do anything about yesterday. Yesterday's gone. I can only impact today, plan to impact tomorrow. So once I've felt bad, there's no use dwelling on it. That's energy you're using on the past, whereas you can learn for it, or you can just put out your mind and you can keep moving forward. How do I switch off? I like to read, I run. When I can, I think running in the morning is great because you've just woken up, you're able to once you're done, you feel like you've accomplished a lot and you've still got this whole day ahead of you. So if your race starts at 6 o'clock or if you're out on the road at 6:30, it's also a beautiful time of the morning. The sun is coming up, you've got the greenery, the trees, the birds, anything that sort of quietens down, direct change of pace to what I experience during the day at news. I've accepted that there's never going to be balance, right? That there's never going to be balance. And if you love what you do, you don't mind the fact that there's never going to be 50-50, especially over a long term. So your day is often long, but because you're involved, because you love what you're doing, because you're passionate about what you're doing, and the fact that I'm able to have impact on our country, through the work that we do. I think that's important. So that gives energy. Currently doing an MBA. I've always wanted to do it because I've been interested in business and how things work, and it also gives me an opportunity to indulge my love of numbers as well. It's demanding, it's taxing, so I think there's a challenge to it as well that one needs sometimes, just to break you out of your comfort zone. The advice that I would give young journalists or youngsters hoping to become journalists is, one is to be inquisitive. The nature of journalism is being inquisitive. Listen more than you talk, right? Because if you talk more, you're not going to get a great story. And then read. Read. It allows you to learn about as many things as possible, different perspectives as well, which I think is key for any journalist. And it helps your writing. You learn who's someone whose writing you like. Why do you like to read their writing? If you learn new words, add it to your vocabulary. Look it up and say, geez, I didn't know what that word meant. Okay, why are they using it in that sentence? Could I possibly use it in my writing? I've seen newsrooms transform enough to know that it would be foolish for me to answer the question, what will newsrooms look like in 5 years' time? What I would rather do is say, I hope there are strong newsrooms across South Africa, because through strong newsrooms, South Africa has a healthier democracy. The media is able to compete. Competition is good. I think it gives journalists options as well. What keeps me going every day? What helps me to wake up every morning? I think is the knowing that I'm having an impact on people's lives. I live by a mantra that says what we do matters. You know, journalism is really a vocation. It's a calling. You know, you spend long hours and in sometimes very difficult conditions. The people that you work with, that I work with, keep me going, whether it's on my team, whether it's in another department, whether it's, you know, anyone. You walk into the building and you're a security guard, or someone flashes you a smile and interact. Someone comes and says, how's your family? How's your granddad? I remember you said he wasn't good. It's like, you know what? There's people that I'm connected to. What has been the highlight of my career? There are many. I think the highlight has been seeing people who have been given an opportunity on the various teams that I've led, growing and really making an impact. I think the very best personal moment for myself is watching the Springboks win the 2007 Rugby World Cup in a very cold Paris. I think that moment will live with me forever. And it only happened because of journalism. It solely happened because of journalism. Had I been in any other profession, had I become that accountant, I would have been watching the game on TV like millions of other South Africans. And in terms of reporting, I think one more has just come to mind. One day as a reporter, I remember covering stories in both Alex and Sandton on the very same day, and being able to move between these two very different communities, telling each stories from each community to the other, to the country, you know, really struck me and said, I'm in a privileged position. That moment has stuck with me, you know, it'll stick with me forever, in fact, because it just speaks to the power of journalism, the privilege that we have in terms of seeing our country in one day, and being able to tell the story of those different communities to each other. I'd like to be remembered for my kindness, being passionate about journalism, and the personal relationships. I think personal remembrance for me is what's important. I'd never want to be remembered as for part of a story. My name is Sheldon Moraes, and I am Assistant Editor for Breaking News at News 24.